Hey everybody, this is Brad from Johnson Small Engines, better known as the one-handed mechanic. If I can do it, you can too. Today we have here a Champion dual fuel generator. This is a 9,000 starting watt and 7,000 running watts on gas and propane fired at 8,100 watts startup and 6,300 watts running. Now to understand all the wattage stuff, definitely go to their website. I'll put their website in the link in the description below. This is how to start and operate this particular model, and I did do a little research just to see if there's a lot of these, and there's so many different models of this generator, it's gonna make your head spin. But this is basically for this one, and if you do need the manual, go right to their website. What you need off of your generator is right here, and all you need is the model number 71530. That's gonna get you the whole manual on how to operate everything you need as far as like the oil and all that in there. So I'd highly recommend taking that, going to their website just before if you're buying a brand new machine. Now also, this shows the manufacturer date when this was made. This year is 2025, and this was made in 2014, 05 of 14. This generator came in with a no start condition on the gas side, and we decided to put a brand new carburetor on it, but not put any fuel in it. So we emptied the gas tank. Right here is your gas tank, and this is a 6.1 gallon gas tank. I'm not sure exactly how many hours it'll run. I highly recommend using a fuel stabilizer when you do purchase the gas to put it in there. This is the battery here. The battery on this machine will be charged when it's running, which is very nice. A lot of generators out there do not charge the battery as they're running. So if you're running this generator a couple times every other week, it will get a charge. If you're not, they highly recommend getting a trickle charger so you can charge the battery up once a month to keep it fresh. So that means that if it dies a couple times, it may not come back. So it's good to just go ahead and put a trickle charger on it. We have the selector over here for gas and the propane, and it's pretty self-explanatory. You switch it this way for the gas, and then you switch it this way, and it's this way for fuel. It will not allow you to run it on both of them at the same time. It's a very nice little setup here, and I think they went to a dial on the newer machines, but this one works just as fine. When you're putting it on gas, you're going to turn the fuel valve straight down. I'm not going to do that, but we don't have any gas at all in this thing. I'm going to actually show you how to start it up on propane. And then when you turn it down like that, the gas is on, and then you can fire it up. But the switch, when you push it this way to propane, as you can see, it's going to block, it's going to turn off the fuel anyway, but manually turn this off when you're going to go to propane, so you don't have to push it with this. It'll probably break. One of these things will probably break. Just be careful. So we're going to slide it over to propane. This is actually a knob right here, and you can barely see that there is an arrow on here. And what you have to do to turn on the propane is you have to turn this clockwise, straight up and down, so it's in a vertical position, and now the propane is on. And then this is the hose that comes with the machine. They've actually started to give you a very small pigtail. This will go right to a 20-pound propane tank. They do have nice products in their website for longer lengths. And then also, obviously, I would highly suggest calling your propane company, seeing if you can get bigger tanks at your house, and then this thing will run, a long time. It does tell you, I think it's at 20% of load capacity. The 20-pound propane tank, which is our normal gas grill tank, will last up to, I think, 12 hours, but that's only at 20%. So obviously it's going to pull some propane. So definitely keep backup if you're only using 20 pounders. So I'm going to turn this off for now until I turn the propane on. I just want to go over these other switches here. We have all your outlets here. Pretty much you have a 120, this is a 30 amp 120 volt twist connector. This is a 122 40 volt. This is the one that most people use to run their houses. And you do have to get the plug for this. So take a picture of it, go to their website, or go to a hardware store, and you might be able to get a plug for that. And then you're going to have to either that, or you can buy an extension cord that already has that plug adapted at their website. These are 120 outlets, and I think these are only 20 amp, maybe 15. You have to look in your manual. The nice feature about this also is it gives you the hours. It also gives you the on start, that's for your crank. Now, as you can see, it won't crank until you have your battery switch on. I like the fact that they have two switches here, because a lot of people, they forget to turn their machine off, and it can drain the battery if it's left on. So that's a nice feature, that you can't drain your battery. If you see this light off, which is in the off position obviously, when the light's on, now if I hit crank, it will crank over. I'm not going to do that right this second. So we're going to turn that off. But down to your oil, which is right here. This machine also has a low oil shutdown, so it will not start if the oil's low. Now, we did change the oil, and this particular engine is supposed to take 1.2 quarts. I only got about a quart in it, and I didn't want to overfill it, but it's very full, and basically you're going to fill it to about the top edge here, not quite all the way up. You don't want it dripping out, but it has to be about, I think it's about a 1/4 inch down from the top of the thread there. And then just make sure you're topped off and make sure you're on level ground. If you're not on level ground, this will not, I mean, it could possibly think that it's not level and then shut itself down. The low oil sending unit is on this side, so you have to be careful. Just make sure you're on level ground. Connect this, make sure it's nice and tight. You want to have this away from the generator as far as you can, but for this video purposes, I'm going to have it just sitting right here. Turn the propane on. Once you have the propane on, definitely use some kind of a soapy, sudsy, something just to make sure that soap and water, just to make sure you're not bubbling up. If you see bubbles, you might have a leak. Just want to make sure you're covered there. And they do give you a little warning here about do not go over, it's inch pounds, do not over tighten. Snug it up. Also, since the propane's on, I'm going to check there. We do have to turn the LP in the on position, which is vertical. Then we come around, and I just want to show you the carburetor here. So this is the carburetor, and we have choke and run. The little lever here, it's hard to see, but there's a lever here, and they also show you right here too, on and off. So you're going to put the choke on. You can use the pull rope here, or you can use the battery, and we're going to use the battery today. So we're going to go ahead, choke's on. We have our fuel valve on for our propane. You have to turn your switch on here. That turns on your battery. And then you put your switch to on here. All right, with choke's on, this is on. We're going to go ahead and crank it and see if it starts. Now, as soon as it starts like that, I'm going to take the choke off because this is running on propane. And you really don't, it automatically will push propane into the carburetor. The choke is not as important, maybe on colder days, but we're going to go ahead and give it another crank. Right here, showing you voltage output. Now, when you turn it off, nothing happens. Turn off the battery, nothing happens. You have to turn it off here. I'm not sure if you guys heard me, but this is where you turn it off. This is a switch. This actually will shut the propane off, and it also cuts ignition all at the same time. So when you were watching me turn these off, the machine didn't turn off. There's a reason for that. It's because they want you to, they make sure that you're turning the propane off when you're turning the machine off, so that propane is not being fueled into the carburetor upon shutdown. All right, so just remember when you do turn it off, make sure these buttons are off. If you leave this battery switch on, you can kill the battery. All right, so make sure you're turning everything off like that. So that's pretty much how to start it. There is a nice feature here with this tube. This is how you drain the oil. And you can just pull this off of here. Now there is the clamp on here that I put on, a screw clamp. They just give you a little press clamp in the beginning, but I didn't want to take any chances of this thing vibrating and popping down. But it's real easy. You just have to pull that drain down. Make sure you have a container. You can drain your oil. If you're running these generators for 24 or 48 hours, that's max. 48 hours is all I would recommend as far as changing the oil, unless you have a power outage and you need to run it longer. If the machine stops running, if you're not out of gas and you're not out of propane and the machine shut down, what a lot of times is they run themselves low on oil and they have a low oil shutdown. And if you run a machine for 48 hours plus, you can run the oil low, and that's normal. All these small engines burn oil. Some burn less than others, some don't burn any at all, but you just have to be aware that they do burn oil. So you do have to keep an eye on your oil level, and that is one thing to check if you're having problems with starting and you 100% you have fuel. Also, everybody asks me what kind of oil this takes. They're recommending 10W30 will work, 5W30 full synthetic will work all year round. So that pretty much sums it up for how to start and operate a Champion dual fuel generator. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe, share my channel with your friends, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.